Okay. You mentioned your record with legislative reform, but discretionary funding has been an issue for you in the past. I want to throw some things out there that people have been talking about so you have a chance to respond.
Hmm.
In 2002, at your request, $745,000 of member item money was going to go to Soundview, which you
Hmm.
control, until media attention led the Senate to actually pull that funding. Um, could you address that?
Well, let me address first the premise of your question and your comments. It suggests that all the media interpretations and their view on this is correct, and it's not. Uh, there was no shady um, uh, distribution to Soundview. You know, I had $10 million available. Soundview was not exempt from applying for these funds. They applied. And this is part of what I must address because, you know, we get into the situation of my relationship with Soundview. Nowhere in these pages of the New York Times reporting or other reporting has anyone taken a hard look at what the money was designed to do. AIDS. Part of the money that you referenced was going to go to building an AIDS HIV awareness program. We are the epicenter of AIDS. Soundview is a double, triple A rated program, JCO accredited, with a 30-year history of providing quality services. My own relationship with it was coincidental. They call it discretionary funds for a reason. It was at my discretion, at the application of Soundview, that I awarded it the funds. It did not take a New York Times story or any other opinions to correct that. There was nothing to correct.
So there was no conflict of interest between you as a legislator and also as the president and CEO of Soundview directing money to an
No,
organization.
because it was not money that was designed to go to operations. It was designed to develop an AIDS center for patients. By the way, the absence of that money 6 years later keeps us in a very precarious position. That is, we still have the biggest mortality rates in the city due to HIV illness with no such facility in place. So I ask you, I ask anyone who would listen and see this program, who has benefited? Who has benefited by the withdrawal of this money?
Well, in a couple of years ago, three of your aides at Soundview, your staffers, were tried and convicted of taking $30,000 of that same AIDS program money and using it to benefit your campaign.
Tried. It's a very interesting word. The only one who went to trial on this matter was totally acquitted. Client number 9, former Governor Spitzer, steamrolled Soundview. I wish I could show you, but I'll show you this way. The size of the subpoenas since 2000, where Mr. Spitzer and his government invaded Soundview at every point and interfered with my 2001 borough presidency race, which I would have won were it not for the kind of political prosecution that took place here. These ladies, I know to this day, regret having pled guilty because they were not guilty. But no one's going to believe that now. So the point is, what happened here? It was nothing to do with AIDS. It had to do with a political prosecution. It had to do with mothers and grandmothers really giving in to the steamroll effect of a governor running wild. And he had been running wild and in pursuit of me, not them, not Soundview, but me. And I was totally exonerated. Do you think for a moment that if there had been real evidence of political shenanigans at Soundview, that I would not have been indicted? I was not indicted. They were. They've served their time. They've paid back with a great deal of community service, which was required of them. But these are people that have been giving for 30 years.
And they're still working for you at Soundview.
They're still working for me at Soundview. They're still doing a great job. These people are also, unlike Bernie Carrick, unlike people in the Bloomberg administration, unlike people that Obama for president has as acquaintances and former treasurers and fundraisers. In other words, look at our 30-year history. If you're involved for 30 years, if you're involved in the mud wrestling of politics, if you're victimized by political prosecutions, then there may come a time when you will get dirtied up yourself. And so I wasn't, but some colleagues of mine were. They've done their time. Look at my 30-year record. Look at my vision. Look at who I'm fighting against. I'm fighting against political bosses, and I'm fighting against a legislator that, were it not for me, would be unopposed this season. Now we need to talk about him. We need to talk about Ephraim Gonzalez and how he stole, not for some issues of, whether it aided his election, but personal theft to benefit his own personal greed is what we're campaigning against.
Like you, he says that what he's accused of, that those accusations are also politically motivated.
And so, fine, and he will get a chance before a trial and a jury. Mm-hmm. But this is a person also that previously was indicted and convicted in a gun operation that put more guns in our streets. This resulted in his wife copping a felony plea and he himself copping a plea for that particular situation. Also, he was indicted for a real estate scam.